Happy Monday. I know a lot of people are not happy that today is Monday. Guess what? I'm one of them. I hate going to work on Mondays. I don't know why, but that's just a fact. Don't ask me why, because I don't know the reason either. It's just this feeling returning to work after having a great weekend. That's how I feel. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you go to work, sometimes it's just like, oh man, again. That is why in this channel, on this platform, we are discussing, talking about investing in Africa, doing business in Africa, you know. So, because if we don't like it here, we have to do something about it, right? Therefore, I come in. I talk to y'all about what I'm doing, what you could potentially do as well, right? So we don't have to feel this way any longer. My thing has always been that if we keep complaining about how life is treating us here in the West, well, we just can't keep complaining about it. We have to take actions, right? We have to act on it. We have to come up with a way so we don't feel this way no more. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I come in here, have a conversation with you guys as many times and I possibly can throughout the week, right? So again, hello. I hope you're having an amazing day so far. It's Monday. Let's face it, right? I hope you guys had an amazing weekend, just as much as I did. My Sunday was fantastic. I didn't go to church because I, woke up late, but it was productive in some sort. I was able to do things that I didn't get a chance to do on Saturday because I worked. And yes, I'm very pumped up about it. I'm very excited to be back here one more time to interact with you guys. So let me know where you're tuning in from, and do me a favor when you join the chat, hit the like button and share, if you will, with a friend on your social media to bring more people on board. All right, that's how we grow this little platform. Because like I told you, I've been trying to keep up with the content lately as much as I can, because editing videos and doing pre-record form videos are fun, but they're at the same time they're time consuming. With someone like me who has a full-time job, I always do not have time to edit videos like that. I used to edit videos when I work, reasonable amount of hours, but because I have my focus set for my plan back in Congo, well, I have to work as much as I've been doing so that my dream comes true, right? So sometimes, and remember in my last live stream, I talked about sacrifices, right? So that's one of my sacrifices right there, because the way I see it is like, all right, if I don't do it, then I probably might not even be able to do it either. All right, I'm still young, and this is the greater time. Possibly we could all, work 2-3 times harder. So when you reach a certain age, you're reaching 50s or 60s, you might not even have the strength that you have today. That's why today or now it's very important for all of us to work hard and get things done. And that's what I'm doing. I don't want to be the one who watch other, become successful while I'm sitting here and not doing anything about it. So that's why I devoted my time to work and socialize less. But then eventually when I make it, then socialization will always be there. I'll always socialize with my people because I'm a people person, all right? All right, I was getting a little, a dry throat, so I needed to drink some water. All right, you guys, thank you for tuning in one more time. I appreciate you guys coming on board to hear what I have to say. I understand your time is very precious and I value your time. And let me thank you one more time for tuning in and also giving me your time to hear what I have to say. And let me give a shout out to those of you that have recently subscribed to the channel. It really means a lot. It helps the channel grow, by the way. And just because you subscribe, I would just ask that you stick around and look for more videos like this, because I am having a lot of fun doing this live stream with you guys so we can discuss most important things and subjects surrounding investing in Africa, investing in Congo in particular, because that's where I'm from, and that will really mean a lot. All right, without wasting any more of your time, let's get straight to today's topic. You guys, how much money do you need to start a farm in Congo? Kinshasa more specifically. I don't know about other provinces, but because I'm from Kinshasa and that's where I am investing in agriculture, I'm investing in farming, I may have an idea and I might help you out and probably get an idea of what you're looking, what you are looking at in terms of expenses and things like that. But if you notice in the title, the second part say it's not what you think. And that's right. Investing in business or starting a farm in Congo vary depending on how much you are willing to put in. Some people go full force, invest a whole lot of money at once, right? But because of realities that we know doing business in Africa in particular, someone like me who's been involved in, farming in, Congo, Kinshasa, I know the reality. I wouldn't recommend someone who's never traveled to Congo to invest in anything to go full force. I will always advise someone to go over there, see for themselves, and make the decision after what they have learned. Because what's been happening a lot lately is that people getting so excited because they had saved enough money or they had cashed out on something that they did, and now they're like, all right, I want to go over there, I want to start or whatever, which is fine. But excuse me, it's always important to keep in mind that starting small and working your way up in Africa, that's the way to go, especially when you're dealing with locals. A lot of people do not have the same mindset that we do have living here in the West. If you have left Africa, I'd say 10 years ago, I guarantee you when you fly back over there, whether it is to just visit family and friends, you will see that your mentality has probably outgrown, some of them in terms of doing businesses and stuff, because you are looking at things way more differently. You are seeing opportunities that a lot of them don't see that's around them, right? So when you go down there, you may not operate in the same way. Because keep in mind, when we come from the West and we go into Africa to invest, we bring the Western mindset of doing things. Things got to get done like very quickly, right? But then when you go over there, you learn, and then you will humble yourself where you're like, all right, I need to put a foot on my brake pedal and probably go with the flow a little bit, because things don't work the exact same way compared to the way it is here in the West. Starting a farm in Congo would not cost you a fortune. Depending on your ambition, if you are planning on farming in a much larger commercial basis, you may need a little more money. But keep in mind, you don't always need to spend that money up front. You may have the fund available to finance all your projects, but it's always a wise idea to continuously progressively, right? Evolve. You build one thing, you sit back and see what you can get out of it, and then you go ahead and move forward with the second plan and so forth. Because remind you, people doing business in Africa, especially dealing with locals, it comes with a lot of headaches, and it brings a lot of frustrations and a lot of stress. But those are expected, all right? And that's why I've in one of my videos I've discussed how going to Africa will teach you how to build a thick skin. If you don't have that, then I wouldn't really recommend you going to Africa to do business. You will become frustrated every single time. But frustration is something that you deal with almost on a daily basis, dealing with a lot of locals when you are doing business in Africa. That's why I always tell people, listen, all the wings that you thought you have grown while you lived here in the West, it's time for you to drop them when you are packing your luggage to fly to Africa, whether to invest or to just visit family, right? Because that arrogance or that sort of mindset that some of us are developing here in the West will never help you out when you are ready to do business in Africa. And I always try to give people advice that, listen, don't think you're just going there and just work your way all the way to the top. Keep in mind, whatever you are planning on doing, there are chances are there are other people who are already doing it, that are local people, right? They might not have the fund that you are bringing, but trust me, they have the knowledge that you don't have. That's why it's very important to humble yourself and go over there, collaborate with local people to gain some sort of knowledge to help you be successful in your business, especially starting a farm. Because land price in most areas in Congo, it's really not all that expensive, right? I told you guys how much money it cost me to buy my land before I started farming in Congo, right? So guys, listen, I've been speaking for 12 minutes now and I don't see no likes at all. No likes. So I'm assuming if you're still watching, that means you are interested in what I have to say. Why not just hit the like button? It does not cost you anything, $0. And I will really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So the thing that most people are misled and that are causing them to make more mistakes is when they do their little research and they find out how much money a land costs or 1 acre costs, right? They're like, oh my God, I can buy all this land. And please, guys, it's not how that works. Let me tell you something, and let me just touch base quickly on some of the mistakes that I have made so far since I've been farming in Congo, right? I've planted multiple different kind of trees. I have built my barn, I built my house recently, and things are really going well, right? But there are mistakes that I've made when I started growing trees, right? Everything that I've grown, I wanted to grow them in bulk. And what resulted, all right, what it all resulted in was chaos. I didn't take into account, right, that I would need maintenance. I would need weed control as those crops grow, right? That's why I came to a point where I realized that maybe it's time for me to slow down my roll a little bit and face the reality, go along with the flow. Because what's happening is that when I planted those trees, right? Something must be going on. I saw a guy's flying down the road and now there are cops right behind him. Oh, I kind of knew when he went through the red light something was wrong. Something was up, right? Well, it's Monday. I'm about to go suit up and I'll probably be dealing with the same thing. So God help me. Well, anyways, so you guys, so I was so excited to, plant all of these trees, which is a great thing because my idea is to create a forest, right? So not only that I have a sustainable farm, but I have natural habitat where I will feel comfortable staying without even having to move. It's just not going to be like an animal farm or anything, but a kind of environment that offer fauna, right? So that you benefit from natural breeze. When you sit under the tree, you're sipping on the wine, the liquor, beer, whatever it is, right? You're just living your best life. That's my ambition, which is great. But I didn't realize that planting all of these trees in the amount that I was planting them, it required to spend a little more money on maintenance, which I wasn't really prepared to do. And I have done it quite a bit in the past, but it got to a point where it started to cost a little bit more. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna keep spending all this money to maintain it, right? Maybe the practice that I was doing, it wasn't the right one, or maybe the person who had guided me to do it, he wasn't as knowledgeable, or maybe he knew, but he just didn't care how much it was going to cost me in the long run. So that right there, it cost me a lot more money, and it taught me how to humble myself. I'm like, all right, I may have all of this land available, but that doesn't mean I have to plant everything on it. Otherwise, I won't have money to pay people to, do maintenance. So what I've started doing recently is that people that I have hired to, work on the farm, because we're going to be bringing, the first load of pigs by the end of this week. So they have been cutting down grass using machete. They really have been doing maintenance work to make the place look more presentable, right? And my guy went down there, recorded it, sent me the footage. I was like, oh, wow. I wasn't expecting this. This is fantastic, right? So, and I realized, okay, maybe I needed to just take care of the area that are being used and not worry about the other part of the farm that's still unusable at this point. But as we expand and manpower grows on the farm, then what will happen? We will do the exact same thing that we are doing now. And it's very, very important. When I realized that, I'm like, all right, maybe this is the approach that I needed to have in the beginning. So now that I have learned, right? So now the place that they've already, because it's not going to really affect them if I grow, let's just say 10 or even 20 of different trees, right, around the house or near the barn. If grasses start growing, two people can easily take care of it. But when I had plowed a whole 2 acres, right, and then grasses start growing, to keep the weed from affecting the growth of plants, you will need to hire people to go over there to take care of it. So you pay people based on how much work that they are doing. But these guys are hired, they have a monthly salary to work on a farm. On the top of it, they get to maintain the farm for you. So you getting the exact amount of service by the people who are staying there without even no headache. So I learned that along the way. But I didn't have to wait for anybody to tell me how it's done, because obviously I didn't have somebody to warn me from the get-go that, hey, what you're doing, just be mindful, this might happen. I had to learn that the hard way, because I've done it multiple times and I saw the outcome. And then the fourth, maybe fifth time around, I realized that, okay, the first approach wasn't the best, but it sounded very plausible until I did it, right? So now I have humbled myself. I had the money to plant all of these trees, right? But I wasn't prepared for the maintenance afterwards. That's why I'm telling y'all, if you are planning on going to Africa to do business, humble yourself. And just because you have money doesn't mean you need to pour all that money into your project, because be mindful of what you will have to do after you have made your investment. And once you have determined all of that, then go ahead, right? Go ahead and do what you got to do. But don't expect success to come right off the grip when you start investing over there. It takes some level of patience, it takes time, and it requires your patience a lot more than you think. Trust me, when I first started my pig barn and I had my pigs for the very first time before I had sold them with the conflicts and all of that, everything that had happened, it almost like taught me, damn, I mean, the profits, it's worth the struggles and the frustration that comes with dealing with local people. But if you come up with a strategy on how to handle these people, trust me, you will be the number one winner here. It'll benefit you even more. And the more you deal with these people, the more you will learn how they think, and their thought process, it'll become a second nature to you. You won't even have to stress out about it, because you know this is how people act. But then when you have people around you to adhere with your mindset, with your way of thinking and your vision, trust me, you wouldn't even have to worry about what comes after that. And people will just fall into the line with you eventually. Starting business in Africa barely costs you anything, but having the ability to stick with the continuity of the plan is it's where most people fail. Because keep in mind, if there are people who start and then they start seeing results right away, they get so excited and they get comfortable, they become complacent. The moment you become complacent, that's the beginning of your fall. You will always have to consistently continue to build your business and continue to advise people like, this is what I need done, right? And what happens in most jobs when we become complacent, mistakes get made, and when the mistakes start happening, what happens after that? It's the beginning of the total collapse. And that's one thing. Just because the cost of starting business in Africa is not that expensive, doesn't mean that you don't need to do your due diligence to succeed. There are a lot of things that you have to take into factor if you want to be more successful. I personally, again, I'm learning every step of the way, at least in farming sector. Now that I've gotten myself into real estate as well. Like I said, I have not shared any of my construction, my real estate construction videos with you guys, but it'll come a time where I'll share those with you, because real estate, nothing can go wrong with real estate. I mean, if you make real estate investments, chances are you will always make profits. That's hands down, right? But when it comes down to running other businesses, it requires some level of knowledge and some consistency to reach your goal. If you're not prepared to make those sacrifices and actually learn how to, collaborate with local people, I really don't know what to tell you. I mean, honestly, you'll probably not succeed. Consider local people as your partners, right? Of course, you don't have to do business with all of them. Some of them, they have a lot of mistakes. Some of them don't understand, but there are reliable people, but you just need to straighten them out. That's probably what you need to do. If you have that sort of ability to talk people into realizing something and valuing it, which would then change their perspective, use that ability, man. We all have some sort of abilities within us that we just need more time to discover. You understand what I'm saying? I have developed a level of communicating with people and getting them to understand, right, how they were wrong, and that what they can do to have a better approach the next time around they do something. And I have developed that skill working every single day on my job. Keep in mind, I'm a public servant, right? My job requires, you know, engaging in interaction with the public. And I've had interacted with a lot of people that I can remember, whether it is grown folks, kids, young, all generation, no exceptions. And you understand people's perspective based off the age group and their thought process and the mistakes that they're making. You kind of have an idea why they make the decisions that they have made. And I will still ask them questions to get my answers, so that allows me to better help them in whatever situation that they're in, right? And I'll use that skill to also help my people out who I am doing, business with in Africa, people that are working for me, right? And my expectations, I'm like, listen, you and I can get along well if you are able to do these things. I'm not worried about, you know, oh, he did that, these people, this is what they've been doing. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about if they're continuing to do it no matter what you tell them, and about that becomes an issue, then I will get rid of you. But if there is a way you can change the course of actions, I will use my ability to help you out, right? Because understand, we learn from one another. The skills that you have learned, you have developed here, it could be very important to local people. You just need to have open mind to deal with them. If you don't have that sort of open mind and open mindedness, and I really don't know what to tell you, maybe investing in Africa may not be for you. Maybe it's time for you to just make peace with working 9 to 5 here in America and then going back to Africa after you retire, if that's what you want to do. Or you can stay here, die, and get buried here in America. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I know friends who died here, they were buried here, they didn't want their corpse being shipped back to Africa, and that's okay. But someone like me, who's hardcore Africans, who's always wanted to move back to Africa, you're not going to change my mind on it. No matter how many times I fail in what I am doing, I will always continue to change my approach until I figure this whole thing out. But now that I told you one of the things that I've made mistake on, and I now have understood the best way to go about it, and nothing is really going to stop me from doing more of it, so that eventually I know what to expect, and I am going to continue to operate in that manner moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Guys, there are so much opportunities that we're running away from in Africa, man. So much. Land acquisition process, the ability to do things without worrying about governments coming through and dictating how you need to run your land. Unlike here in America, if you guys remember when I went live last time, I talked to y'all about land acquisition in America versus in Africa, and the things that American governments or Western governments will expect of you to do when you are running your farm or your land compared to Africa. Dude, that's a freedom right there that you enjoying 100%, because a lot of people in these days, all we want is freedom, and the kind of freedom that we're looking for, you can only get that in Africa. When you purchase land, it's 100% yours. The moment those transfer papers have been made are done, and then the names has been transferred, the land is transferred under your name, that's it. You don't even need to do X, Y, and Z. You don't even have to worry about no taxes or anything like that. But the cost of starting business in Africa or starting a farm in Congo, it depends on you. Depending on things that I've talked about, now you get to make a decision, right? Okay, am I going to go full force, or do I need to listen to what Murph said, and maybe I can buy a land, 10 acres, 20, 30, 50, 100, But please don't go in there, oh, I'm going to plant 15 acres worth of corn because we want to harvest. Well, it sounds great, right? But also be prepared for maintenance. Don't blame people when they tell you, hey, you need to send money for maintenance because this weed are going to affect the growth of these crops. Don't think they're trying to rip you off, because this is coming from me. I've lived here. I know how hard it is to work hard, to work and make money and invest in Congo. And I know how it breaks people's heart when somebody else is just enjoying enjoying your money that you work hard for. All right. So I'm telling you because I've been there, done that. So I'm just giving you the knowledge that you probably didn't have and things that you didn't consider or you didn't think about. So when you do the exact same thing, you know what to expect. You'll go back to this video and say, you know what? By the way, Merv talked about it. It talked about this, and maybe I just should do the way he did it. You don't have to do things exactly the way I'm doing it, but I am just sharing with you my experience so you guys don't have to make the same mistake that I've made. All right? Because we all are very, very excited, right? So when we go to Africa, you get all this land. 15 acres cost me about what? 3,500, including the fees to get the paperwork and have the land transfer under my name. 15 acres, which you will never, ever get here in America. And nobody ain't gonna walk in and tell you, you know what, you need to grow grass to just certain level. You need to do these things this way. No, whatever happens there, it's, bruh, what the hell is you doing? You know? So that right there, it's very, very important. And when I realized that, oh man, I just needed to figure this thing out. Now I believe I have. Moving forward, I'm never going to make that same mistake ever again. And I didn't have nobody tell me that. And when I talked to my guy and I told him, listen, this is what we're going to be doing moving forward. I want those coconut trees planted around the house that I just built, just, you know, so I can have, you know, a little more of a good landscape, because I'm trying to create an image of I have in my head on my farm. 10 trees, yeah, you know, people can easily manage it. And then around the barn, we can plant 10 more, which is very manageable versus 450 trees. And then eventually, you don't have enough manpower to take care of it. Now you got to hire a bunch of people to do it, because if the tractor goes up in there, it's going to destroy everything you have planted so far. So these are the mistakes that I've made and things that I've learned. And I'm sharing now with you so you don't end up making the same mistakes, right? It's always crucial to know when I do this, it's kind of like a cause and effect stop kind of thing, right? So when I do this, this is going to happen. And I've learned the hard way after losing God knows how much now, but it's still worth, you know, patience. It's very important. All right, you guys, I feel like I've been repeating the same topic over and over, but I hope you've gotten value, right, from this live stream. If you did, hit the like button, share this live stream with a friend, and yeah, happy Monday. And I hope to see you back here the next time I go live. In the meantime, I still got those videos that I'm working on. Sorry, I keep promising without delivering, but it is due to my work ethic. I'm a workaholic, and I'm doing this for a very good reason. I'm doing this to make my dream come true, to build my farm in Africa, a very functioning one, so that I can show you guys that you can do it. You can make it in Africa as long as you are willing to put in the work. All right, you guys, have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.